Welcome to That Entrepreneur Life, a podcast about entrepreneurship that takes you from idea to launch and beyond. Each week, your hosts, Andrew Lees and Clint McPherson, discuss different business topics aimed at adding value to any entrepreneur's journey.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Andrew Lees. I'm here with Clint McPherson on That Entrepreneur Life. And I just want to take a minute before we get into this next episode to let you guys know that our website is up and running, thatentrepreneurlife.com. And we're trying to add a bunch of resources to it that have, there's tools that we use that could be helpful when you're starting a business or starting a podcast. We're going to just be adding more and more stuff to that all the time. Yeah. And there's some other resources that could be helpful. The one thing that we're really excited about is probably the simplest feature on the website, and it's just a suggestions or questions page. And it allows you to put your name in your location, like city, state, and then and it asks us a question. So if there's something on your mind that you want to know about with respect to starting a business, growing a business, and being an entrepreneur, we want to hear it. And we'll actually answer your question on one of our episodes. We want to get into really talking with you guys about what your questions and concerns and are with starting a business. So we definitely want to hear from you guys. Feel free to put some questions out there, and we'll do our best to get to as many of them as we can.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, we really are thinking through this process, and I think our website really, one, came out, looks clean. Two, is incorporating elements that we all wanted to see in other podcast websites. And I think the cool thing is, like you said, we're able to actually set up forms, and if you want to be a guest on the show, you can fill it out. We got a form for that. If you want to actually ask us questions and have us talk about it on the show, we're more than welcome to do that, right? Because we want to typically know your number one question as an entrepreneur, and we'll definitely address that and talk about it on an episode of That Entrepreneur Life. Mm-hmm. I'm excited, man. This is episode 4, and today we're going to talk about adding value and what adding value as an entrepreneur means to both myself and Andrew. And I think, you can run with it in any form or fashion. But at the end of the day, you really need to focus on and hone in what adding value really means to your clients and to yourself. Like, what are you going to do, right? You have a product. But is that product have a unique selling point? Does that product add the value? Or is it something that, like Miles Beckler does in my space? He's a digital marketer, affiliate marketer, guy that gives you a lot of free nuggets and information. And I believe I turned Andrew on to him. But when you watch and listen to him, he's an open book of free information, right? And I think he hones that in and adds a ton of value that way before getting into his services or products that he sells. And basically you could do anything you want just by following him, right? If you want to know how to do it and you have that time and space, it's there. And I mean, do you have anything to add to that? Because I mean, I really think the value, something like that he does, he has it dialed in pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, he is definitely a really good example of somebody who's adding as much value as he possibly can right in the beginning. So, most people are saying, hey, we'll give you a discount on our product, or we'll give you a free ebook, or we'll give you some information in exchange for an email, or in exchange for some kind of a discount. So, but with somebody like Miles Beckler, he's actually giving you step-by-step guides on how to do certain things in the digital marketing space, content creation, affiliate marketing, and you can, I mean, without paying him anything, you can actually learn a lot. So his whole thing is, let me provide all the value. Let me actually tell people exactly how to do things. And if they want to use some tools or services that he uses, he'll get an affiliate commission. But he's really focused on the adding value part. And if you look at business from a high level, that is the most important thing, is that adding value part. It's the most important thing. If you are adding value to customers and they are willing to pay something for it, then you will make money. Like it's just as simple as that. It obviously gets more complicated when you're trying to figure out, all right, how am I actually going to reach people? Am I going to reach people for free? Am I going to pay for it? What kind of return on investment am I going to get? There's a lot to figure out there, but really, when you really just break it down, as long as you're creating something, a product or a service that's valuable to people, they will pay something for it. And so you will generate revenue, you will be successful. And if you're just focused on that, and I think we've maybe touched on it a little bit in another episode, but if you're focused on the money part first, and you just like, hey, I just want to make a ton of money, which that's a thing, you gotta know your why, and that might be part of your why is to create financial wealth and financial freedom for yourself. That's awesome, and that should definitely be a goal. But
that can't be the only goal.
It can't be the only goal, because then it's like, then you're just like, I gotta make money, and you're just always scrambling for what's like something I could sell to people to make money.
Right.
And instead going the other way and thinking, what do I know about? What am I the authority on? What kind of product or service can I create? And that will add value to people's lives. And if you come at it from that perspective, the money will come. It will follow, and it might even be unexpected. You might realize, you might come upon a business opportunity you might just kind of stumble on it, because somebody's like, you tell somebody something, you give somebody some information, and they're like, oh, I would pay for that. I'd actually give you money to learn more about that.
Right.
Or if you create this product, I would definitely buy that. And you're like, really? Okay. I didn't think that was an actual business opportunity, but then it becomes a business opportunity because, you realize that you're actually able to create value, and then people are definitely going to pay for it.
No, I agree with that. I mean, a lot of it's what it is like, if you really look and do a deep dive into how adding value just helps you on a tremendous level. Like when I sit there and look at it, and how I look at adding value to my clients, right? I have a service-based business, right? We both do. Mm-hmm. And when you look at it, yes, my services cost $1 or whatever it is, right? If you need a website design, it's not just like a cookie cutter pricing, depending on how many pages you need and all this other stuff. But when I look at it, I focus on educating my client on the process, and they don't know what they don't know, right? And so I think a lot of the things I do is all focused around adding value before I even begin the project. It's like, give them as much information as they possibly can have to make a better decision, as far as saying, okay, you want a 5-page website, but have you thought about, okay, does that include your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, and all that other stuff, right? Because those are pages we still have that I would recommend building out. And again, a business owner, they don't know what they don't know. But when you recommend that, a 5-page website ends up turning into an 8 to 10-page website because of the extra additions. And again, that might be something I just throw in for free, but that really comes down to, was it thought out? Is the value that I add by adding this going to help them? Is it going to be beneficial? But I really think once you're able to switch your mind from, okay, seeing dollar signs to focusing on the value add for your client for one, offering them the service,
Mm-hmm.
or two, just educating them enough to let them make the decision on why they need your service.
Yeah.
Right. I really think that comes back in twofold, right? I've had several clients to where they come to me, I've done something for them in the past, then they circle back around. At the time, I might not be the most cost effective for them because everybody's trying to pinch money and spend, the fewest dollars possible. And in my space, it almost like sometimes you want to pull your hair out because you're like, are you kidding me? The value you're getting right now far exceeds anything else you're going to get on the market, or whatever's going on. It is like, I'm telling you, this is really a good value for what you're paying.
Yeah.
Then they go off and pay that cheaper person. They don't get half the value of what
Yeah.
you're giving them. And then they come back and they'll circle back around and be like, hey, I think I made a mistake. But in the end, it's like you get what you pay for sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you might find a really cost efficient product, but you're like, dude, I'm getting way more for what I'm paying them than I was with him.
Yeah.
And the value's there.
Yeah.
Or you go to that cheaper person and you're like, okay, bad mistake. Let me circle back around. I've had several clients do that, right? They find somebody cheaper, but by a few dollars, not even something that's like, I would knock it down and price match them, right? It's like, dude, just talk to me.
The value's not at the same level.
Exactly.
Not nearly.
And they see it. I don't know that, but then they see it and they're like, yeah, I made a mistake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I give them a whole bunch of information and then they say, thank you for the advice. I really appreciate your honest feedback, but they take zero of it.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, bro, then you feel defeated to a certain extent, but then they circle back around again, and then you're a client. You build a website for them for, probably half of what you do to a normal customer, but you want to show them like the value, what you're getting with me is going to be consistent, and it's going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Because they'll just, especially if you have a service that, or a product, we're always talking about both, but especially with services, if it's an ongoing, service, if it's something that people are going to need month after month, that's definitely the case with digital marketing, because you've always got to stay on top of it, whether it's pay-per-click, SEO, you're always, month after month, you're never just doing it and then forgetting about it. So if you can demonstrate that value early on, maybe give them a little break on pricing, then you've got a client for a long time, probably, because they're gonna, if they see, oh man, I'm getting a great return on investment here, I'm happy. I'm gonna stick with you, and we're gonna do this month after month, year after year. That's amazing. And you were talking about, giving people good information in the beginning and educating them on your process.
Yeah.
I think that's really good because it empowers them to make a decision.
Yeah.
You're not jamming some, your process down their throat and saying, you need to work with me. We need to do it this way, and you're going to do X, Y, Z. They're like, whoa. Let me process some of this myself. Let me learn a little bit about it. I think most people want to at least have a high level understanding of what they're getting into, So I think that's pretty cool too, is to be able to empower people to make their own decisions. And, that's something that we both try and do. I try to do that with my business. I love, whether if I get a customer out of this or not, like I'm always on calls with people, talking to them about how to develop a product for them. And it might not lead to a customer right away, or it might not ever lead to a customer. I mean, I talk to plenty of people that, it's not a good fit, or they don't have enough money to develop their product, and that's fine. But when I'm talking to them and walking them through the development process, what they're going to need, I'm trying to give them an understanding of what they're going to need to develop and manufacture their product, and then what they're going to have to think about when they want to take their product to market. I get excited. Those are fun calls, and I don't get paid for them. So, I'm only if I get a client, and that's not 100% of the time. So, even if I'm spending, half hour, an hour talking to somebody and educating them and empowering them to make a really good decision about how to get their product to market, or if it even makes sense for them to get that product to market. That's
Right.
so, sometimes that's the conversation too, is it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you might want to rethink this a little bit, or you might want to pivot to something else, and just based on my experience. So, but yeah, and people respond to that. Like, people just, they love that you're not trying to rush them off the phone, or you're just trying to, like, send them a quick quote over email and never talk to them, never hear what they have to say about it, never learn about who they are, why they are thinking about going down this entrepreneurial journey. So they really respond to that and love it, and they can feel your passion for it. And you can express that through a phone call, and you can also express that through content on your website, a video, a blog, or whatever. So
yeah, I'm a big believer in not being pushy as a salesperson either, right? Because we do have to sell our products, our services, but at the end of the day, I'm not a salesman. I say that, everybody's like, you have to be a salesman, but I give them enough information for them to make a decision. And I think it's important that, like you said, you got to empower them to make that decision and give them as much information as possible, but not be that pushy car salesman, right? To where it's like, no, dude, I'm out, because you're like being way too pushy right now. I don't even know if that's what I need.
Yeah.
But again, I think if you educate them, which is the value I typically add to my whole, frame of mind, it's like, I'm going to educate you on why you need this. And I'm not actually going to recommend things you don't need. Because one, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to hear your problem. And that's one of a huge building block of entrepreneurship. And providing a service or providing a product is making sure that you identify the opportunity, which is typically identifying the problem, right? So when you identify that opportunity, you're trying to solve the problem to create that value and to capture that value. And for them, and for me, I think educating my client on why I have a product or service that fixes their problem, I think that's huge. And then when you look at, like I said, that usually means in the form of finding a problem to be solved or that needs to be filled. I mean, right? That's huge with products. Yeah. I mean, one, when you have a product, you just can't release it one day and say, woo, right? You got to create excitement around it. You can't just publish a book one day and nobody knows about you. Nobody knows about the book.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care, right? One, you didn't create excitement around it. You didn't tell them why it solved the problem. You just said, buy my book. Okay, great. Why do I need to buy your book, right?
Right.
What does it do for me? Why am I going to sit there and read it? One, you need to buy my book because it solves a problem, right? Or have that unique selling point that in turn helps you sell that product. But also try to generate excitement before you release a product or service. Because if a client if they don't know why they need it, you're just going to fall flat on your face. And I've had several clients or individuals that I've worked with in the past that are currently struggling because that's what they did, right? They find a product or they get this bright idea. Boom, I got it. It's going to sell. But they're not placing the value there, right? They're not putting the value at the front of that funnel. The value comes after you get into whatever paid membership, whatever it is, but you're not really relaying the proper message of why that individual needs to sign up.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, a lot of people are wanting to launch things because they can, but that's not, you really have to make sure that you should too. I mean, it's cool to get excited about a new business, because, it's like, oh man, I can create this product and I can sell it into this market that I'm really excited about. Like, I love surfing and I want to create a product that I can sell to surfers because that's what I'm really passionate about. And everybody's always talking to me about how I should follow my passion, but sometimes, you got to stop and think about, should I be doing this thing? What's the competition like? What are what's their value? What's their price point? Am I actually adding any more value into this market, or am I just putting something else out there that's just exactly the same as, everything that's already there? And, to get the most to be the most successful, you got to create something that is unique and might be non-obvious, where it's like, people have maybe thought about that solution before, or they've thought about their problem at least. That's the thing. They've got this problem, but they've never imagined what the solution could be, and you solve that for them.
Right.
And if you're one of the only people doing that, or if you're, one of a few competitors who are doing that, then that's just going to set you up for success. And yeah, I agree. You gotta, as much as possible, it's really good before a product launch to create some buzz around it. And you can create ads, you can create content, and just say, hey, this is my product. This is the problem that it solves. Videos are very impactful. People respond to them. So having something that demonstrates the product and shows people why they should buy it, and then say, we're doing a pre-sale, or it's going to be, this is going to launch in a month or two or whatever, and just stay in front of people, then that's going to make your product launch that much more successful, because you're already going to have an interested built-in audience, instead of just like one day you launch it to the world and it's there, and you just launch it to crickets. So, and that's definitely, it's not like if you launch and you do, people do get very hyped on the launch, and making sure that it's like crazy, kind of thing. I actually heard a guy from, I think it was Y Combinator out in California, talking about launching products and launching something at like, South by Southwest in Texas. And, because there's a lot of products that launch down there, especially like software as service and apps and stuff. And, there's this misconception that a launch is this, massive event, and there's, like you hit these crazy milestones within 24 hours, and it just, your business just goes bonkers from day one. But that's, in reality, that's not how it works,
No.
And launching your business to crickets is okay. You can, you can build it from there, but definitely the more hype, the more buzz, the more interest you can generate,
the more successful you're going to have from the beginning.
And that at a very minimum, that just kind of gives you some good validation. That keeps you excited. That boosts morale for you and your team. And yeah.
I think if you say you're an author, you create a book, nobody's heard of you, nobody knows about you, you release it, you put it on Amazon, you might sell a few. But if buzz was around it, if you were pushing it, if you were promoting it, I'm sure you're going to sell a lot more. I'm almost positive you're going to sell more.
Sure.
Right. And then on top of that, if you create a book, or you create a lead magnet, whatever it is, but you go around adding value, right? Say you start a YouTube channel and you just focus on adding value, in your upsell, in your show notes, or wherever it was whether it was through affiliate marketing or whatever, but you always had in there your book, right? If you want to learn more, if you want, it's going to sell a lot better, right? Over time, and you're just going to build that momentum, right? And then you're also able to show, you're able to create that additional value that you're not even really asking for in return. It's just something, hey, you're solving the problem, you've identified something, and you're filling in a unique way, right? And it might be an odd way, but there's so many different angles that you can take to make it successful. But just accepting doing something the same way over and over and expecting different results, what is that? That's the definition of insanity, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that a lot of entrepreneurs that I've dealt with in the past and know of and have given advice to, they continue to, in their mind, think that they're going to be successful with doing it the same way. And they just continue to do it the same way because they're damn near determined that it's going to work that way. No matter if it hasn't worked for the first 3 months, hasn't worked for the first 2 years, I'm still going to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I just, you can't, sometimes I say you can't fix stupid, but at the end of the day, don't be dumb about the situation at hand, right? If something's not working, identify possibly some or split test different methods to where, okay, this created one sale. That one sale was better than the no sales that you got this way, right? And now, okay, we got one sale. Let's go with it. Let's go with this and build off of that, right?
Yeah.
And start finding ways to navigate the muddy water that you've created, because that's what you really have. You've got a product for 2 years and one sale. Man, you're killing it right now, right? I mean, in your mind, like, whoa, dude, like, that is horrible, really, in the grand scheme of things. I've been pushing this thing for 2 years, but only have one sale to show for it. That means you've created a lot of mud in the water. But if you're not trying to better your situation through paid advertising or any other methods, and you're just in your head being stubborn, and I'm going to do it this way, this membership portal, whatever is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Like
2 years down the road,
people are just going to give you, money, show up, any kind of money, even if it's only $1 ever, or if it's $1 a month.
Lifetime.
Like nobody's lifetime of $1. Nobody's going to even do that, right? Yeah. Because if you're not offering anything, if you're not creating some kind of value,
right?
But it's that is the most critical thing. So, it's kind of a cool exercise. Sometimes what I do is just kind of, if I'm creating something or if I'm helping a client get their product to market, and we're trying to figure out what their value is from the from early on, because you've got to work that out as soon as possible. And I don't want to develop something for somebody and it just falls flat because it's just it doesn't offer a solution to a problem that hasn't either already been solved, or maybe it's a solution to a problem that not that many people have, or really nobody cares about. Yeah. So right from the beginning, from the planning stage of a business, we want to identify the value. And so I'm like, if let's say I'm developing a new product, it's a fishing product, let's say, and it solves a certain problem. I can actually give a specific example. I developed a product called Catch-A-Lure for great guy Dave Olekson. We'll actually have him on the show at some point. He's a really cool guy, and he'd love to talk about his entrepreneurial journey and the ups and downs for sure. Yeah. But developing that product, we had to figure out right from the beginning, before I even started working in CAD and fleshing out a design for this thing, we had to figure out what is the problem that the product is providing a solution for, and are we really, with the way that we design it, it has to really solve that problem. Like, we want to solve it 100%. We don't want to solve it 50%. We don't want to make it kind of easy to use. We want to make this thing as easy to use as possible. And in this particular case, the problem is fishermen getting, like recreational fishermen, fly fishermen, if you're conventional fishing, bass fishing, whatever, and you're around trees and bushes and stuff, and you back cast, you get your lure or your fly stuck in a bush or a tree. It's really tough to get it out. And so guys will just leave. They'll just leave them up there. They'll cut their line. They're expensive too. Yeah. And with fly fishing, it's crazy because you're actually making these things. Like, people are spending hours. It's like a really technical craft, and it takes a really long. It could take hours to make one fly. So you're just you're just cutting your line. A lot of guys will just cut their line. They leave that thing up in the tree, and if you care about the environment at all, even just a little bit, you know how that's a bad thing, right? You're leaving this hook up in a tree, and birds actually get stuck on them and die. And other animals.
A lot of issues, man. A lot of issues.
Yeah. And so anyway, we wanted to make sure that we were, developing something that was as easy to use as possible, that was compact, that was cost effective. If we came up with this thing that was, cost $1,000, well, our value proposition is way off because, guys only want to pay $20 for this solution, but it's a real problem. We created a real solution that really solves it, and that was something that we figured out from the beginning. So I love the exercise of looking around you, looking at the products. If you are not sure if the product or service you've come up with provides value, before you try and figure that out, look around you, look at the products that you use, and figure out why you use them. Why do they excite you? Why do they provide value in your life? And then kind of reverse engineer that for your thing.
No, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I really think entrepreneurship, though, and the reason we're doing this, and the reason we're trying to add value to any entrepreneur's journey right now, is as an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship starts, it starts really with finding ways to add value. And I think if we're not trying to find those ways, we're failing as entrepreneurs or as business owners, because, when you're trying to add value to the environment that you're already in, it helps tremendously. And I just think, again, in my space, I think the huge value add I have for it is really educating my clients. And I keep coming back to that. But again, same way with you. You're breaking it down on so much more of a level that some clients can't even comprehend. That, why do I have to think that way? But they don't dissect it down, right? The target demographic and all this stuff, and like, why? All right, what is the problem that your product actually solves? And like you said, does anybody give a damn about it? Right? Like, does it make sense to even care? Because I mean, I can't throw a good example out there, but just because I go and dip my toes in my pool outside, and then I create some fancy toe warmers for it because I'm the only body in the world that does that stupid, ridiculous thing with my toes in my pool, does not mean that's going to be hugely successful. And oh my God, I have a good idea, Andrew. I need you to help me come up with these toe warmers for my toes. So when I dip them around the pool, we're going to sell them like hotcakes. You're like, bro, that's not selling anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, maybe a dumb example, but it's just something like, you got to be realistic expectations. We've already had an episode about that and setting expectations, but you also have realistic expectations along the way, right? You want optimism along your journey with a product or service is key as an entrepreneur, right? And you have to have that. But I really think also when you go along with this is when you come up with an idea, I really try to say, as much as you want to fall in love with that idea because you think this is the be all end all or whatever it is, don't fall in love with that idea to where you're going to basically crumble.
Yeah.
Right? Be committed to make that idea work. But if it doesn't fail, have a plan B, have a plan C, but also be realistic along the way.
Yeah. Fall in love with the process.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another entrepreneur, Jesse Itzler. I'm not sure on the pronunciation there. Hopefully I'm not totally butchering it, but I mean, he's actually married to Sarah Blakely, who's another amazing entrepreneur. She created Spanx. We would love to have either one of those on the show.
Definitely.
But I follow Jesse on Instagram, and he had a post. It was perfect. It was like spot on to what I think that the real, what you should really be focusing on when you're on your journey is not to be obsessed as much with your product, but be the most obsessed about the process. So you have to have a great product for sure, but if you get too obsessed with your product, you're going to miss things about the process. And if you're creating a business, it's really the process and continuing to make sure that you're adding value. That's the most important thing. And yeah, if you especially when you fall in love with your product too early and you're not testing it, you're not like, trying to poke holes in it and figure out why it might not work or why it should work, then you could end up with a situation where you create something like toe warmers
where the pool.
Kitten mittens from like Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
There you go.
They were always come up with crazy, wacky ideas, and the joke was that like they created a solution for a problem that was so ridiculous nobody else would want them. Like mittens for a kitten.
Exactly.
It was so funny, but if you really do come up with something that really might not be solving a problem for a really good sized market, then you really got to take a step back and figure out if it's something you want to do. So be in love with the entrepreneurial process and always question your product. Always be refining it. Always be improving it to make sure that you're giving customers what they really want.
Yeah, and I think if you already think when you develop a product that you have the right answers, you're going to have serious issues when you encounter unexpected challenges, right? Where it might not solve the problems you thought it was going to solve. Maybe when you thought about the process, but it really, at the end of the day, the best way to counter that is, as far as don't falling in love with the idea, but you need to be willing to listen, right? Mm-hmm. Be able to listen well among what's happening, right? Be willing to adapt your product, make modifications to it along the way. So your idea, for the sake of finding a solution, is just better, is better accepted. And when I talked about optimism a little while ago and just mentioned it, right? I really think facing every problem as entrepreneurs, when somebody comes up with the idea of toe warmers so they can dip their toes in the pool during the wintertime, we have the confidence that we can find a solution and come up with that idea. But again, just because we move forward with that, or we looked at every angle of it, is it really going to be something that we really even need to mess with?
Right.
Is it really something that they need to change their idea and come up with a better solution for sticking their toes in the pool in the wintertime, right?
Right.
Like maybe don't even do that, right? It's like, you might get pneumonia. Something's going to go down that you might not want to happen, but just look at different ways and be willing to adapt your process or really move on to the next project. Mm-hmm. If you know that's going to be just a dead end, just continue on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you can, we can get into this in another episode. I think we will really get into how you validate your idea in another episode, and we're definitely going to want to talk to other entrepreneurs about how they validated their idea and what that process was like. But I think, having talked about all this, and making sure that we're always providing value and making sure that you are, giving you're positioning yourself as an authority in whatever space your product or services is being sold into. We want to give you a challenge. We want to challenge you guys out there to take a look at whatever business you're thinking about starting or have already started, and really examine what value it brings to the market. And don't be afraid to try and really stress test it, and don't be so in love with it that you can't realize, actually maybe I haven't been doing this. I haven't been going about this the right way. I actually might need to change something here. Be okay with changing, with pivoting a little bit or a lot, or changing, some feature, or changing the way that you're developing it or selling it in order to provide as much value as you can. So we want to challenge you guys to take a look at what you're building and and determine what's the value you're bringing. You know, what's your product or service? How is it solving? What solution are you providing to what problem or problems? And does it really stand out enough? Does it really, you know, are people as interested in it as you think they should be? And do some research. You know, look at competitive products, look at what the features they have, the price points they have, and really figure out how does your product fit in with everything.
Right. And I think as an entrepreneur, and if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, during your entrepreneurial journey, I think it's much as hard as owning your own business or selling your own services or whatever it is might seem. Being an entrepreneur is really not as hard as you think, right? I mean, I think we are our own worst enemy, and all the hurdles and stuff that get thrown in our way, we create a lot of those or allow those to get in our way. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think the process is not as I think it's simpler than a lot of us may think. And so again, the challenge is out there, right? If you have the ability to add value to your community mm-hmm. or add value to your followers, you know, by identifying a problem, which we're talking about adding value, right? You're solving a problem for them with an idea or skill that you offer currently or of your own. And that when you're already on your way to becoming that entrepreneur, right? Because if you've already identified that, you're on your way, mm-hmm. right? So you're really there. So all that's left to do then is put all that into action. Mm-hmm. And so I really think just taking action and making it happen and just keeping your mind that anything you do needs to have a value add to it. And I think just actioning that, not being afraid, mm-hmm. is a big thing. So we can have another episode just solely on that.
Yeah.
And so I really think that's a wrap for episode 4.
Yeah.
I think we hit all the marks. And guys, optimism is vital, and just keep it rolling. Think about the customer at hand. Think about the value you're adding on a daily basis, and let value come first. Let value come before the dollars, because the dollars will come in from the value you're adding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, it's a wrap for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. We want to hear from you guys. Go to thatentrepreneurlife.com and fill out a suggestion and throw in a question for us. Send us some feedback. Let us know how you think we're doing. And we're always trying to get better. So it's a work in progress for sure. And then also, please, if you like this, if you're listening, please subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
And we're on social, we're on Facebook. You can throw us a like and everything. Yeah. But we really appreciate you guys subscribing to our podcast and also sharing it. If you like this, if you have friends, family who you're like, man, they would, I know a few people who would really love to listen to this kind of stuff. And they would love to learn about how you start a business. Please share it.
Yeah. And not only on that level, but even if you know somebody that's an entrepreneur, that would be a good fit for us to interview on the show. Absolutely, that would be a huge, great added value for us to add that value to our listeners, right? So make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcasting app, like Andrew said. Make sure, we're going to be posting all these videos as well on YouTube. So subscribe on YouTube if that's your preferred method. But currently, I know we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast, Castro, and so I think we're on 6 platforms right now in total, but we'll be on iHeartMedia and all that stuff coming forward too. It's just a little bit of a submission process. When you do submit it has to go through our approval process, but there should be nothing that holds us back from getting on those platforms at all. We're going to be added to the Heroes Media Group network as well with Adam Bird and his team, so you can catch us there. So if you don't go to That Entrepreneur Life, you'll be able to go to heroesmediagroup.com and find us there as well. But we would love for you to check out thatentrepreneurlife.com and just, hey, if you like what we're putting out, subscribe and listen and share us, man. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening again, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to That Entrepreneur Life podcast. Be sure to visit thatentrepreneurlife.com to join the conversation, access our show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode as we continue to add value. Until next time.